It seems as if history repeats itself, and it may be that at this moment we are exactly in the same situation that the citizens of Atlantis were in. Those ominous words really set the stage for what is a profound and honestly kind of unsettling investigation. We aren't just looking at ancient history today, we're looking at what some consider a mirror reflecting a cycle of destruction.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the Atlantis case file. We're going to take a structured, evidence-based look at the hypothesis presented by ancient astronaut theorists and whistleblowers. It's a theory that suggests ancient myths and anomalous data all point toward a very different extraterrestrial origin for the fabled lost city. Let's dive right in.
Here's the agenda for today's case file. We'll start with the global flood myth, unpack the mystery of Orichalcum, track echoes in the Americas, explore sunken stones and prophecies, and finally uncover a warning for the future.
Section 1. The global flood myth and antediluvian civilizations.
Think about this for a second. Viewed through a conventional lens, this is practically a geographical impossibility. From the book of Genesis and Noah's Ark, to the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, the Egyptian Edfu texts, the Inca tradition of Viracocha, and the Hopi tradition of the Third World, nearly every ancient culture on Earth tells the exact same story. A great deluge arrives to rid the world of corruption, wiping out an entire pre-flood or antediluvian civilization. Ancient astronaut theorists argue that these perfectly matching global stories, they aren't just coincidences. They see them as authentic historical records of extraterrestrial intervention. Okay, so to understand how these theories align, we really need to look at the timeline. Around 360 BC, the Greek philosopher Plato authored his famous dialogues, claiming he learned of a highly advanced civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time. But theorists point to an even older date, 13,000 years ago. Modern whistleblowers argue that Atlantis was actually an extraterrestrial colony initially set up in Antarctica, right before a massive pole shift caused the whole thing to be flash frozen.
Moving to Section 2. The mystery of Orichalcum, an anomalous alloy.
So, let's pivot from ancient texts to some tangible physical evidence. Check out this number, 39. Back in 2015, marine archaeologists off the coast of Sicily made this absolutely stunning discovery. They found a 2,600-year-old shipwreck, and perfectly preserved inside were exactly 39 metal ingots. Identified as orichalcum, which is the legendary substance Plato literally wrote about, this discovery instantly erased the question of whether Plato's story was purely a myth.
Now, Plato described orichalcum as a substance of unknown origin. He wrote that the laws of Atlantis were actually inscribed on a pillar of it, and that their temple flashed with its red light. Well, modern analysis reveals these recovered ingots are made up of roughly 80% copper and 20% zinc. And here is the crucial catch, the zinc. Zinc doesn't just casually occur in nature in a usable metallic form, it hides as a mineral called sphalerite, which is a really complex zinc-sulfur compound. To extract pure zinc to create orichalcum, you need highly advanced smelting technology. Mainstream history tells us humans simply didn't possess this tech back then. So how did they do it? Ancient astronaut theorists argue this sophisticated metallurgical knowledge was quite literally a gift from the heavens. Extraterrestrials basically kick-starting human civilization.
Section 3. Echoes in the Americas. Across the Atlantic. Seriously, how could Greek philosophy possibly mirror the oral histories of indigenous cultures separated by an entire ocean? Just look at the moral parallels of their collapse. Plato's Atlantis was this advanced society created by gods, but it was destroyed by a water cataclysm the moment its citizens wandered into materialism. Meanwhile, the Hopi and other Pueblo traditions detail the exact same fate for the Third World, devastated by a cataclysmic flood because humanity gave in to greed and lost the spiritual truths of their creator. The parallels are, frankly, identical.
And the architectural echoes? They're just as staggering. Legend speaks of Aztlan, the mythical birthplace of the Aztecs, who modeled their capital city, Tenochtitlan, as an artificial island built into a lake with outward causeways. Sound familiar? It's strikingly similar to Plato's description of Atlantis. Plus, both cities share this otherworldly origin story. Tenochtitlan was founded by the god Huitzilopochtli, while Atlantis was ruled by Poseidon. In both traditions, a divine figure ruled over an isolated city, harboring hidden, forbidden technology.
Which leaves us staring at a pretty profound question. If Atlantis was just a localized Greek myth, a simple morality tale invented by Plato, why on earth do indigenous cultures across the globe tell the exact same story? According to the source material, these identical stories strongly suggest that these disparate ancient cultures were all visited and influenced by the exact same otherworldly beings. Section 4. Sunken Stones and Prophecies. Exploring the Deep. While mainstream academics often dismiss these stories as myth, they actually do acknowledge the existence of vast sunken landmasses, places like Doggerland in Zealandia, which proves catastrophic water events really have reshaped our planet in the past. But the search for Atlantis specifically has yielded some incredible modern data. In 2003, aerial searches off the coast of Andros Island in the Bahamas revealed a massive underwater platform made of rectangular stones. Geologic indications suggest these structures date back roughly 11,000 to 12,000 years. That aligns perfectly with the Atlantis timeline. Interestingly, these Bahamas searches were actually tied to a long-term project connected to Edgar Cayce. Living from 1877 to 1945, Cayce is arguably America's most famous documented psychic. Just consider the number 14,000. That is the staggering amount of psychic readings he meticulously documented during his lifetime, cementing a massive historical footprint. So, how does this build on the Atlantis theory? Well, Cayce claimed the people of Atlantis essentially mass reincarnated as the people of America. More importantly, he predicted that the truth of our lost extraterrestrial civilization is hidden in a hall of records situated in 3 specific locations: underneath the Sphinx in Egypt, underwater in the Bahamas, and in the Yucatan Peninsula. Uncovering any of these sites, he argued, would give us the records we need to completely rewrite human history. And that brings us to Section 5, a warning for the future, the cycle of destruction. You see, finding Atlantis isn't just about understanding our past. According to the sources, it's about our survival. Native traditions and the readings of Edgar Cayce all warn of a terrifying, cyclical nature to history. The pattern is always the same. First, an advanced pre-civilization flourishes. Second, the society loses its spiritual truths, descending into materialism. And third, a cataclysmic event completely resets the Earth. Cayce constantly warned of these Earth changes, noting that even a relatively small asteroid grazing our planet could change its tilt axis, causing massive oceanic displacement. Basically, a total reset. The core thesis of the source material we've explored today is bold and honestly unyielding. Whistleblowers and theorists assert that we are not the first advanced society on this planet, and we never have been. They argue that an extraterrestrial pre-civilization existed long before our recorded history, and that this hidden truth, whether it's buried under Antarctic ice or in a sunken hall of records, will be revealed within our lifetime. It all brings us right back to that ominous quote we started with. If history truly is cyclical, we have to ask ourselves, are we on the verge of uncovering the final piece of the puzzle regarding our extraterrestrial origins? Before it's too late. Will we learn from the devastating mistakes of Atlantis? Or are we destined to sink into oblivion ourselves? I'll leave you to ponder that as we close the case file today. Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.